Welcome back, everyone, to an exciting episode of Kicking It with Gab and Chooch.
I am Gab,
I'm Chooch.
and we are back for another exciting episode. Like Chooch mentioned, we're gonna start off with our awards. As always, we're gonna start off with our banger of the week, and then we will finish off with the preview of the Premier League and Champions League in between it. Let's go with your banger of the week, Chooch.
I think we all have the same one. Alphonso Davies, banger, weak foot, first Champions League goal ever.
Definitely a great banger. Really good goal with his weak foot, the curve. It was just beautiful. Far side of the net. Uh, Definitely just a great goal from him. Um, Mine was the same, like Chooch mentioned. Moving on to our star boy of the week. Alphonso Davies did deserve a shout for his coming on for Gnabry and performing when they needed him most, but I am going to go once again with Jadon Sancho, who has just been playing unreal. Did get subbed off for the defense after the lead, but regardless, he absolutely played extremely well. Adeyemi deserves a shout as well. Julian Brandt deserves a shout. Really just a lot of those Dortmund guys been playing unreal. Sabitzer's been playing unreal. A lot of guys deserve the shout. I'm going with Sancho once again.
Uh, I'm gonna go not a star boy. I would say player of the week. The boy Matt Hummels,
Yeah,
absolutely insane. Like Gabe said, any one of those Dortmund players could have gotten it, and I feel like it's only fitting for Hummels. You know, um, he's been absolutely insane ever since he came back. He's at the ripe age of 35, scored the goal, had it tackle after tackle, block after block. Just an insane performance from him.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, huge Mr. Champions League. Gets the win for him. Just unreal defensive performance. Like we mentioned, they subbed off some people there. So that'll be our first game we talk about for sure. It was the first game of the Champions League week, so Dortmund are officially through to the final. 2-0 on aggregate. They got the 1-0 win over PSG, and it was in the beginning it was all PSG. I'd say. First half was really just all them. A lot of missed chances throughout the entire game. But I mean, Hummels, like Ivan said, moment came just after half, scored the header, and they really bunkered down on the defense since then. But really just missed opportunities. Not necessarily missed opportunities. It was missed opportunities, but just unlucky, honestly. PSG had some insane shots, like truly, they had some bangers in there. Managed to hit post quite a few times. I mean, Vitinha hit post. I want to say twice from long range. Zaire Emery, I believe, hit the crossbar once. Um, and then freaking Mbappe had a wide open goal that was Kobel double save basically. It was absolutely unreal that he got a hand on it. Right. Mbappe is one of the best finishers there is. But yeah, just quite unreal from them. I would say they look like a tough team to beat defensively. But I realistically, you know, all those chances they did have or they did give up in a sense. So could be either way, but not very hopeful. Going into the final for Dortmund, in my opinion, regardless of who they would be matching up against.
Yeah, kind of backtracking to what I said the last the last time after the first leg. I said it was one of those nights where PSG could have played a whole nother game. They still wouldn't have scored, and that's exactly what happened. It's
Yeah,
just super unlucky, chance after chance. You see it in the stats. You see this if you just see the stats on paper, you would see okay, possession 70%, 30 shots, and they're unlucky to go away with no goals and two legs.
yeah,
Absolutely insane.
yeah, definitely. Just quite unreal for sure. They always talk about that Dortmund yellow wall. But yeah, I mean, just really just more missed chances than anything. But we know, Bayern know how to put those away, and Madrid do as well. Well, that'll move us into our next game, which was so far the game of the weekdays. I'd say
Oh,
both games were pretty insanely good, but Bayern Madrid, I mean, lived up to the hype, fell
everything.
like usual, just like it always happens for Madrid. VAR comes in or referee play comes in once again. Shout out to Madrid. They got the win. You know, I always say don't leave it to one final call, but really a call just as big as this call is it's just it's one of those calls where it truly does change the game no matter how you look at it, no matter what standpoint you're in, if you're a Madrid fan, if you're a Bayern fan, it's against the rules first and foremost. Still happens to this day. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing at this point? Bayern get the goal. It was flagged offsides. The referee kept it offsides. Blew the whistle before you can see the play out, but it led right to a goal in a matter of seconds after that happened, and it was disallowed. But in the Bernabeu, what we called it. We called it. We
Called it.
absolutely called it. It's honestly traumatizing. Ancelotti was like, oh, this and that. There was a dive. Clearly, man had two hands on the man's face, shoving him to the ground. Ancelotti should know. He should know. He was on that Bayern side. I believe it was 2015 when they gave the red card to, man, I can't remember exactly who it was to. But for a clean tackle, oh, it was Vidal, Arturo Vidal. They
Oh,
gave a red
I
card to
remember
him. Ancelotti was the coach of Bayern at the time. He should know. I'm sure he's glad he's on that side of it now, but just definitely quite unreal. Hate to see it go out that way. Of course, Madrid fans aren't going to care. Of course, when Madrid win it once again, no one's going to remember that call. But at the end of the day, even the referee analyst, on CBS came out. She was just absolutely disappointed that it even came to that. But she as the rules expert of UEFA and FIFA, she said that it was a blatant mistake by two referees.
Yeah. And it's always worse when the referee says it's a mistake after it's already happened.
And
Just,
allegedly, the linesman did tell Delict that it was a
yeah,
mistake. But yeah, I mean that's quite awful. Harry Kane subbed off as well. Big, big decision. He did look a little slow, a little bit injured. He walked off with a limp, but still very crucial time. It was tied at the time. You could potentially, have been going into a penalty situation without your best striker. Didn't make sense for me. They played with 10 men, which is what costed the goal. You
you called
waste the
it.
sub. Yeah, I was saying, why would you not just, waste the sub window? You get an extra one if it were to go to extra time anyway, which was mere minutes away. They played with 10 men. Didn't happen for them. They got scored on, and that was the decider. Just just unreal. No one's going to remember it. They're just going to remember Madrid with adding another to the tally. Corruption, nothing but corruption.
Disgusting.
Honestly, yeah, there was a Twitter thread showing all the winners, dating back to the beginning of the Champions League, and you go back and you look those games up. I'm pretty sure most of them are on YouTube right now, but I just went back. Looked at a few, from the early years when they were winning quite a bit, and it's truly a crime. I mean, you watch some of the videos and they're giving away penalties for touching people. It's quite unreal. It's really quite unreal.
Madrid at its finest, buddy.
There was no
So,
VAR back then, but even then, man, I mean, for the love of the game, you just go back. Any Madrid fan, go back, look, watch on YouTube. I know you won't because you don't want to see the truth, but it's there blatantly. So we will see a Dortmund versus Madrid final at Wembley Stadium on June 1st. Dortmund's last final as well was at Wembley again. Unfortunately, they lost to the Bayern München. And but yeah, they hope for different results now. It's definitely going to be a huge game, biggest game of the season, June 1st. Mark it on your calendar at Wembley Stadium. That should be a really late start too. Should be the 12 p.m. start for us, our time, California. But yeah, let's shoot. Yeah, just really hate to see it. Really hate to see it, but it is what it is. It ain't what it ain't. The
It
best
will
team in
be.
Europe doesn't always win it. We know that.
It's going to be the world versus Madrid.
Yeah, the world versus Madrid, 100%. Moving in to the next segment, we have the Premier League back in full force. You may have forgot, but it is here. Only a few weeks left. Some teams with
2
the
weeks
four
left, buddy. We have
games.
2 weeks left.
Yeah, we have 2 weeks left. Quite unreal still on the fixture count for some of these teams, especially with European football and such. I think most teams have 2 games left. Some teams have 3 games left, but still, there's a very very tight window for some of these teams to play 3 games in the matter of a week or a week and a day. But either way, we go again Saturday, May 11th. We start off with Fulham
Man
versus
City.
versus Manchester City at Craven Cottage. Really early start time, 4:30 in the morning. Truly in pain for that. Um, the absolute last thing I want to do is wake up and see that we have drawn or lost. Last week I got up to use the bathroom, happened to, put the game on for a little bit. I did end up falling back asleep, but we at least, it wasn't last week, it was a couple weeks ago, but still managed to come away. Hopefully, we'll see what happens with this one, but, always tough at Craven Cottage. City are fully healthy, though. We've seen John Stones get back into the action. Potentially we'll see Ruben Diaz back into the action as well. Ederson's back. Everyone's back. Holland ready to bag another hat trick. Maybe another 4.
Stat padding.
Yeah, we'll
He's
see.
scared of Cole Palmer.
It would take something special from Cole Palmer to catch him at this point. I'm going to go City, 3-1. 3-1's a safe bet for sure.
Should win comfortably. They
Yeah,
have to win
should.
out. These
Yeah.
are the games they're known for. It's going to happen.
Yeah, 3 games left for us. Moving to the next game, we have Bournemouth versus Brentford at Bournemouth. Really just the tail, of the bottom mid half of the table. Nothing necessarily really big to play for here. They're both almost, mathematically safe, I believe. I do believe that Bournemouth are mathematically safe. Let's see here. Oops, accidentally clicked on the wrong one. Bournemouth are, yeah, they're mathematically safe at 48 points. Brentford, not necessarily yet, but still in danger. I think a draw or a win here will secure them for sure. There's only 9 points available left. Forest could do it, and so could maybe Luton. I believe they're 9 points behind. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Brentford here. I'm gonna go like a 3-2
Mm-hmm.
win for Brentford. Maybe Tony caps off the season with a few. I think they'll get the win.
I'm going with Bournemouth win. Solanke's coming after Holland too.
Yeah, Solanke's in the running as well. Definitely could mean the most to him for sure as well. Um, Next game we have is a really really big game for anyone that is willing to have some bragging rights. Sheffield could gain a few points, before their relegation. Beat a couple decent teams and send themselves off the Premier League season with a couple wins or not. Everton are still have some youngsters out there. They could get some playing time. They don't necessarily have to win or lose or draw, but you always want to go away with the win. This will be a good game to do so at Goodison Park. I'm going to go, obviously, Everton, and I'm going to go like 4-0 because it's Sheffield. Why not?
Oh, yeah, Everton should very much take care of them. Just one final beating before they get sent down.
Well, I think they play Arsenal next week. Let's see.
No,
It might be Spurs.
no. Yeah,
Yeah, it's Spurs. It's Spurs.
Arsenal ends the week or the end of the season at Everton. Oh, but I can't wait to talk about those games because it's going to be insane.
Yeah, yeah. But Sheffield plays Spurs last, so I think that's the final. That could be the final beating there. Um, Next one we have is Newcastle Brighton at St. James Park. I am going to go with Newcastle there. They were rolling. Brighton coming off a good, win, 1-0. But still, I think just Newcastle overpower them for sure.
I'm hoping either a draw or a Brighton win. We need Newcastle to drop points. We need
Yeah.
it.
I don't see it happening, but, could happen for Chelsea as they are in the race for that sixth spot, only 2 points behind. So huge. Even a draw would keep them right at it. And well, a draw would keep them. The goal differential is significantly in Newcastle's favor by 11 goals. So it would take a loss from Newcastle sometime in the final two match days for them and Chelsea to win out. And Newcastle actually. Oh, they both have 3 games remaining. But Newcastle do have United next week, so very, very plausible.
Midweek, right
Uh,
on midweek.
or midweek, yeah. So very, very plausible for them to drop at least one game. Going into the next game, or actually, Newcastle. I'm gonna go a 2-1 win. 2-1 win Newcastle. Let's see. The next game we have is Tottenham Burnley at Tottenham at the Hotspur Stadium. Obviously, I'm gonna go with Tottenham here. Burnley fighting for their lives. They do need the win. They do. A win would put them 2 points behind Forest. Forest played Chelsea, so really tough game. They do have a possibility, Burnley, still to make it, and so do Luton. So, Burnley in a must-win game. Tottenham, not necessarily in a must-win game, but I mean, they're still trying to battle out for that 4 spot. They do have a game in hand, so it is possible to some extent. So must win for both teams, but I am going Tottenham comfortably.
I think, yeah, even though they lost four in a row, I'm hoping, I'm hoping they lose. And Brighton will keep it going.
Yeah, that would be quite crazy for sure. Um, I am going to on this next one. We got West Ham versus Luton. I am going with my main Luton squad for this one. West Ham are currently in shambles. Uh, Perfect time for Luton to come up with the huge points. I think they could go tie with Forest, and they will only be out on goal differential. But it's the late push. 2 games left for both teams, for both of those clubs. Anything could happen, and I believe they play each other on the last week. Let's see.
No, Forest
I know
plays
Forest played
Burnley.
Burnley. But still, really good game for Burnley. Burnley could win that game and take Forest down with them if they're mathematically out, or they could try to win that game for promotion. So I think Luton realistically is the obviously the best one with the chance in the relegation zone. Burnley would take something special against Tottenham, but I mean they're here. They're in the Premier League. So why not them? Why not them?
Yeah, Moyes already been confirmed. He's out.
Yeah.
He's
He said
gone.
he's gone. Yeah. Let's see. Next game we have is Palace Wolves at the Wolverhampton Stadium. Um, Middle of the table, no significance there. Just pride at this point. Want to send your club off with a win last 2 weeks of the season. I am going to go Palace, just how well they've been playing, with maybe a 3-1 win, 3-2 win.
Yeah, definitely. If we keep seeing that same Palace we've been getting, they are going to keep it up. The goals are coming. The way they're playing is just insane right now. Like we were talking about Philly, talking about like how great it's been. You know, seeing all the games they're winning, and you know him being a Palace fan is obviously great.
Yeah, yeah, quite crazy. Yeah, and he posted some pictures with them. Looked like a cool time for sure. But yeah, I mean, Palace, they're moving in the right direction heading at the end of the season. As a Palace fan, I mean, you can only look but up at this point. You know, lower half of the table. You know, closer to the relegation zone than not. But either way, still a good bonus for them with their star players still showing out. Finally, last match of the Saturday, we have Nottingham Forest versus Chelsea at the City Ground in Nottingham. Hudson Odoi revenge game, in my opinion. I think he will ball out. I am going to go Nottingham Forest 2-1.
Cap 4-0 win. Matt Dweke,
Four.
he's going to show Hudson Odoi up, saying, "I'm your replacement, buddy."
Dang,
And
that's great.
he's gonna hit him with the.
Oh, goodness. Um, yeah, I think,
Oh,
man, we always talk, well about Chelsea. We talk well about Forest. Forest have the talent to do so, just haven't really gotten it there. They're like a young Chelsea almost, if you could say that, or a mini Chelsea version. But it's going to be a good one. I think Hudson Odoi will absolutely ball out. But
Caicedo, buddy, it's a
we'll
whole nother
see.
level right now. He's absolutely insane right now.
We will see. Absolute match of the two match of the weeks coming up this weekday or this weekend. We have a Sunday game which I will be there for. I am
Salute.
off this Sunday. Manchester United versus Arsenal in one of the biggest games of the season. You know, we talk about that. We almost say this almost every time, but realistically, every time we've come to it, it has been the game of the season. And this being the second to last game, you know, biggest game of the season, Arsenal cannot drop a single point. Can't afford to drop a single point. Not with Man City, especially Man City play first. The pressure will absolutely be on Arsenal against a
And
Manchester United squad that's not been good.
a Man City team that has a game in hand.
And a Man City team that has a game in hand. Very, very true. Yeah, just quite unreal for sure. But I still think Arsenal will win. I think it'll be, happen in stoppage time plus until Arsenal score. Um, but yeah, I mean, I really, man, I am rooting, hate to say it, for Manchester United this weekend. Quite unreal, but it is at Old Trafford. You know, intense, intense game. I think it will be a really good positive for Ten Hag if he could get this win. I do believe he is already fired, in my opinion. Nothing he can do to save the job, but definitely, beating Arsenal to end the season would give him necessarily a good little chip on his shoulder to put on his resume. Heading into possibly coaching free agency. He'll have potentially some places to go if he chooses. But yeah, definitely I'm gonna go Arsenal, maybe maybe 1-0 or 2-1.
I did see that Martinez should be back and
Yes,
Rashford,
I
so
saw
that is a
that.
big boost for Man United to hopefully take down Arsenal. You know, as a fellow hate watcher, we are rooting. We are rooting.
Yeah, definitely. That's our solo Sunday game. And then Monday, we also have another huge game. Not necessarily as huge as the Manchester United Arsenal, but Aston Villa Liverpool, two of the biggest names as well in a clash at Villa Park. Um, like we said, not the biggest game, but still huge, huge players in those top four, and it should still be a very, very entertaining game. Liverpool not quite out of it yet, depending on what happens with Arsenal, and Manchester City. Still a chance, still have to win out, and it's still possible.
What are they done for? The only way Liverpool win if they win both their games, and Arsenal and Man
And
City just lose the rest of the games. That's the only way. It's done
yeah,
for. Klopp, farewell tour.
yeah. I think we should cover the Tuesday game as well, since it is, going to be coming out. No, no, we'll save it. We'll save
We'll
it
see
because
you.
our episode will be out hours before that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll save that one. But, yeah, Aston Villa, Liverpool, another big clash, but definitely the weekend highlight will be Manchester United, Arsenal at Old Trafford. Biggest game of the season for both clubs, almost, it seems. And we will find out. The hate watch could be immaculate. It could be immaculate.
All I know is if Man United pull it off, if they pull it off on Tuesday when Gabe comes in to work, he is going to be dancing.
That depends on City's results, mate. We got to worry about our game first, then we'll go about the rest. But regardless, still should be a good weekend. I will be excited, if Arsenal drop points no matter what. Even if we happen to drop points in any sense, that will majorly help us as well. Um, let's have a look at the table, just a recap of the table, how close we've been talking about it. Liverpool are, let's see, 5 points behind Arsenal. Same amount of games have been played. They are only 4 points behind City, but City do have a game in hand. So Arsenal sit up top with 83. Man City second with 82. Liverpool at 78, and that is basically your title race there. Villa cannot do it, and Liverpool just on the verge of it.
Yep, lost you for a sec. United, United. It's like not like how June says it. He's not a stat pattern like that guy up there. Yeah, especially after when he started the season so well. He was super in phase. Yeah, he kept them in so many games, and now kind of just collapsed. But you know, it's still a very good debut season from him. There's some links of Emi Martinez being the next keeper for Chelsea. I wouldn't hate it. I'll take him. Newcastle are coming for you. We're coming for six. And Cuckoo's back. They led the league in games missed. So sadly, sadly, it's coming to an end. Could be. Coming home. Allegedly. And with Gavin Cheech.